Hi, this is Chris Legaspi, and in this video, I'm going to demonstrate my lighting and shading and rendering process, and specifically we're going to focus on the details in the torso. We're going to go through my process step by step. We're going to go from a line drawing to a finished render, and we're going to go through this a bit quickly at about 2x speed. And before we begin, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my free Insiders Club. Insiders Club members get first access to these weekly live streams, and you also get access to other live events, and you get discounts on courses and programs, along with access to free lessons and other free content available only to subscribers. So all you have to do is go to www.drawwithchris.com, and there you can enter your email and you'll be good to go. And we're going to be working from a beautiful reference by Mr. Georgie Eduardo Corona Vargas over on Instagram. So make sure to check him out, and if you want to follow along. And what you see here is I'm finishing up the line drawing by defining the shadow shape and the contours. And once I have a clear shadow shape, I'll be able to begin the lighting and shading process. Okay, now I'm going to fill in or mass in the shadow shape that I just drew. So now that I have a clear line drawing and clear shapes, I can fill the shape with a tone. That way it can separate in value the shadow from the light side. And this will help to start to model the form and give me nice, clear separation, clear definition of what's in light and what's in shadow. So this is just the first step here. Okay, next I'm going to punch in the darkest darks, establish how dark I can go. And I'm going to use a little bit of a blue pen here. I didn't have a darker colored pencil, so I decided to experiment with pen, but it just gives me a nice hint of dark accent. Now I'm going back to my blue pencil. So this is an indigo blue. It gets pretty dark, so I'm able to establish some of the dark value range. Obviously, I won't be able to go as dark as I can with the black. But within the value range that I have with the materials I have, this will be a nice dark for me. Basically what I'm doing is just refining the values, adding dark accents where needed, and darkening parts of the shadow where needed. And this is just going to continue on until the values are complete. Also, what this does is it helps me to establish the value range. Once I have the darks on the drawing, I know how I'll be able to better judge the midtones. Okay, now that I have the darks established and my shadow mask established, I'm going to go in with the light halftones. And so this will help to transition the darks and the shadow into the lights and really help to push the form. And here I'm using a lighter pencil, so it'll really add to the feeling of light and form. And notice I'm using a gradation technique. I'm basically doing a subtle gradation from left to right and right to left, basically from the outside in. So this will help to create the cylinder form that I want. And now that I have the cylinder established, I can go bottom up. So I'm doing the exact same thing, but I'm creating a gradation from the bottom up. And that's because the light is from above and it's hitting directly the center of his chest. So I'm really basically using gradation technique to help suggest form. And using gradations like this creates a lot of naturalism and realism in your values and in your renderings. Now I'm going to model the egg of the rib cage. So the rib cage has lots of details. This whole torso has lots of details, but I'm going to maintain the discipline to just focus on the base form, which is an egg. And if I do that, it'll give me a lot more realism. If I communicate the major forms more clearly, I can just suggest details on top. And that's really the secret, is to be able to model large forms correctly and then use detail to reinforce your major forms. That's exactly what I'm doing here. And here's a look at the finished drawing. So to get to a finish, all I did was continue to refine my shapes, my values, and edges. Although there's a lot of detail and it looks very detailed, the main thing that I focused on and the main thing that makes all the details work is that I really spent time to model and focus on the major forms. So you can feel the egg of the torso and the rib cage. You can feel the cylinder of the forms, which really helps to create the illusion of realistic light and shadow.